Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this Friday's World session. A special thank you for everyone who watches, everyone who participates in these sessions with me that comes on as a community. And we come together for this dose of energetic care. So I want to say from gratitude, a very special thank you for everyone who does join me before these sessions. And if you haven't, or if you're unable to, then you're not missing out, but it is a little bit of fun to get on together and have a chat and see where these sessions will go. Little disclaimer, not medical advice. You're having an emergency, get yourself to the doctor. All right, so I'm moving right into the session, and we're going into the first place that some things that we brought up in our group conversation was children. How children are being affected with overwhelm, feelings of feeling unsafe, destabilized, overwhelm, anxiety. So last week's session focused on children, but if they still, we'll see how we'll bring them, they'll be in on the session as well. So this session goes out to everyone who's experiencing some sort of overwhelm, destabilization. So this is for children and adults alike. But if you would like to listen to that session that was specifically done for kids, that was last week's session. You can find that on my YouTube channel. There's a plethora of work there. So please go ahead and check that out. All right, that being said, we're going straight into the brain, and the brain is completely fried. It feels crispy. It doesn't feel like there's circulation going through there. The chi's not running through that brain properly. The left and the right brain hemispheres are not talking properly. So that also means that there's a feminine masculine imbalance within the brain. The corpus callosum feels so small, and it feels very shrunken, and that logical left side of the brain is taking over the feminine, that pushiness, that there is a burp, so there's a release happening there. So, and there's a bombardment of information being stored within the brain. I need to understand. I need to understand. So the logical brain is needed. We need the logical side of it. We need to have a sharp mind. We need those to think properly, not lazy thinking. So actually thinking things through, saying things with discerning. So that's the gut brain coming in. And there's also an imbalance within the microbiome, which is affecting the small intestine's ability to discern, which is not the same as analytical thinking. You analyze something, it's like picking at it and picking at it and picking at it and picking at it. And while you can't really destroy energy, it's like going down to each molecular structure, and you're just going to find something more and something more and something more. And then you turn that sharpness of the mind is used as a sword against yourself. Woo! So I'm talking really fast. I just feel like there's just too much. So we got to slow things down, bring them out of it just feels like bombardment, and I don't even know where to go. So we're going to tap a cortices to the brain. We're tapping cortices also to the left brain, to the right brain, to the corpus callosum. We're going to also tap cortices to arachnoid, pia mater, dura mater. And then also do an improvement. We're going to improve the functioning of the brain. Brain is not mind. Oh, and there's confusion there. Brain is not mind. Oh, I finally took a deep breath. Your brain is not your mind. They have no idea. Scientists have no idea where thoughts come from. They can see the synapses moving through the brain as thoughts are moving through. But there's no part of the brain that they said this is the thought box. We're going to run a brain drain to overload of information, dumping that out of the lymphatic system. We're also in the lymphatic system, so this is the lymph of the brain, and we're going to bring in a beautiful circulation of blood and nerve lymph, chi, specifically also easy water, bringing in all of the frequencies of the chakras, the atoms, the photons, the protons, and we're bringing in all healing potential within that lymphatic system. And we need to dump information overload. So this is also information from outside sources. So whether it's on your phone, your device, news, listening to other people, listening to, this is also coming in as an environmental impact of global consciousness is coming in. Well, and it's just throwing, my tongue is going completely dry as I'm saying this. It's like it just throws the whole system off, and the brain is unable to send out those healthy formulas, those healthy signals to keeping this body alive. It is just over inundated. So we're going to dump information overload out of the lymphatic system, bringing in that easy water. And we're also cleaning up information that you have about yourself. This seems very crucial. All of those things that you think about yourself, good, bad, and everything in between, everything that you know about yourself. Are based on experiences, what people told you when you were a child, things you've lived, identities. So we're going to dumping. Oh, I know this about myself. So information that you know about yourself. That's I've never seen that like that before, and it's blocking the lymphatic system's ability to dump dirty thoughts. So, you know, that repetitive cyclical thinking, low self-esteem, over-analyzing. We're doing a beautiful brain repair. We're going to link the left and the right side of the brain together. We're also doing a pineal pituitary. Wow. Oh, my stomach is just inflating and inflating as I work with the brain. Really needs some gentleness. Feels like it's being pushed around by the mind or by thoughts. Whew. So I'm seeing what we're going to do next. We're going to link the left and the right brain, which is also going to help with the masculine and feminine balance within the body, pineal to pituitary, which is a very beautiful link for balancing masculine and feminine energies within yourself. So the masculine, which is pineal, sees through the eyes of the feminine, which is pituitary. So masculine sees through the eyes of intuition. It acts through the intuitive insight. And oh, there we go. There's finally a breath coming in here. I need to do it feels like the brain is being really compressed by the sutures and the cranial structure. It feels just really squished. So I'm going to go in and we're going to do inner and outer zygoma to a pelvic release. Oh, and this is helping bring and loosen up the diaphragm. Finally, there's a little bit of flexibility happening with the diaphragm. And if there's no breath, there's going to be an increase of anxiety. This is where the anxiety is coming in. Can't catch my breath. I can't catch my breath. So there is a saying, if you have perfect breath, you have perfect health. Perfect breath means perfect health. There is a nice stomach gurgle, and we're going into the diaphragm, and we're going to stretch it out a bit. It feels really constricted. And oh, the children. So children and caregivers are coming into this. We're going to do them separately though, but I could feel both of them. It's like if there's a feeling of being, whoa, that was a really big release there. So I'm just going to go quiet to see what this is for. It feels like there's a herd, like, you know, herd consciousness coming in through that diaphragm for children. And devices again are coming in, and you know, it's like growing up way too quickly. It's very destabilizing. Always having their phone with them or missing that heart connection. It's very destabilizing. It causes a lot of anxiety. So you can look for yourself up for, I guess, I'm sure there were reports done and, scientific studies done. I can't remember exactly, but saying that screen time, especially in young children, is linked to depression. And also that blue light is coming in through the eyes as a filter, and it's making the brain really wonky. It's doing something, it's throwing off the neural development for children. It's doing something really strange through that deep brain, through the medulla, through the cerebellum. It's almost like frying the pawns, and it's causing almost, I've never seen this, almost like an interference with their nervous system. So it's like can't find their footing. There's an influxing of anxiety, so anxious thinking, and using that, it's almost like there's an addiction there to the screen. And they're using that as their anchoring. Oh, that's very strange. So we want to dump that out of, we're going into the eyes, and we're going to do a dumping of, we're going to do it as a intolerance and an interference through the eye. So the actual physical eye, and then also the subtle sense of sight. We need to give it like, okay, well, you can have your screen time, but there has to be a certain amount of repulsion, I think, that's needed here. It's like, no, this is not good. And then they just put it down naturally. It's like, oh, this is enough. And they kind of have that, even though, that discernment coming in, this healthy gut part coming in, saying, no, I can put this down now. And we're also going to run body chemistry through the brain to intolerances. And the intolerance being that blue light is really interfering with the neural development within the children, and it's doing something to adult brains as well. This is very strange. I felt really nervous all of a sudden and really uncomfortable. So I'm going to put us all into, we step into the light. I'm going to put a protective amulet around us, or a golden egg, from the top of the head to the bottoms, the soles of the feet. There we go. Okay. So I'm watching, and then we're going to do a brain repair again to, woof, my voice is going off and my eyes are doing something funny. I'm feeling very nervous. So how are we going to do this? There was a gurgle and a release. Okay, now we're going to go back into that diaphragm, do a hydration to the diaphragm, and link it to the lungs for a beautiful breath, bringing in a natural breathing cycle, bringing in all of the breathing diaphragms so that the breath, perfect health, can move through. So all of our cells are being regenerated. The cells are being dumped of toxic consciousness. So of course, we need to be dumping the toxins within our physical toxins within our body, but let's include toxic thinking, toxic consciousness, and let the breath do the work. So inhale, we breathe in new life. There's a pause, that receptivity, and there seems to be something uncomfortable with waiting. So that feminine pause, you can't collect, let's say, a cup of coffee if your hands are moving and someone's trying to give something to you and your hands are constantly moving. That's the feminine, that receptivity to bringing in, to receiving. And here come the caregivers aspect of, well, I certainly can't receive for myself. So I'm bringing in all energy workers, practitioners, doctors, nurses, anyone who's in the service industry, taking care. So even taking care. So even bringing in waitresses, mothers, any family member, anyone who falls under that umbrella of caregiver. And we're doing a repair to being able to receive care yourself. Not always dumping, or not, sorry, not dumping, that's not the word, not always tending to, but you can't give from an empty cup. So we're doing a repair, actually, a bilateral pair to the breasts. This is our nurturing center. So not only the ability to nurture others, but nurture, self-nurture, nurture ourselves too. We're going to bring in the minor chakras of the nipples. We need to do a repair there. We need to do a repair to the mammillary. And we're dumping a consciousness out of here, thinking, well, I need to always give. It's like, I need to do something to receive something. Well, there's a natural ebb and flow, right? That's just life. There's ebb and flow. The ocean goes out and it goes, well, it goes out to the shore and it pulls back in. It goes out, it goes in, it goes out, it goes in. There's this natural ebb and flow, and there's no thinking about it. It's just a part of nature's experience. It's just the natural law. In, out, in, out. You think about the breath, in, out, in, out. But there's this thinking within that that receptivity piece, that feminine piece, to receive yourself. And is just overburdened with thinking, well, I don't deserve to receive. There's no such thing as unconditional receiving. I need to do something to prove that I can receive care. I need to take care of other people first. I need to do this for others. Oh, I couldn't possibly. So you can fill in for yourself all of them, your belief systems about receiving care for yourself, receiving care. Receiving care. We got to dump all of that pathological consciousness out of the feminine, out of the breasts, out of the nipples, out of the mammillary glands within the brain, out of the chakras, and then also doing going down and going into the feminine chakras. So Mother Earth's chakra, so root chakra, sacral chakra, especially that sex chakra. We're going to do a repair there to receptivity. And then also for doing a repair to the actual sex, feminine sex organ, we're going to do a repair to the vaginal lining, the inner and outer labia. And there is so much grief here. So we're going to use a biogenics to drain out grief out of the vagina, the vaginal lining especially. And then in comes an 8th chakra influence. And this is going into past lives, where, how are we going? 13th century, where I'm seeing this little girl. She must be about 11 or 12 years old. And she's having to have, she's been married off and to this 50 or 30-year-old man, and she shuts down receiving. It's like, well, if I just numb receiving anything. So trying to block out this this being married off to this older person, and so shutting down that feminine aspect of herself. Because receiving is dangerous, receiving is dirty, receiving is, there's just no pleasure, and I must do, even to receive a small piece of food. So we got to dump that past life out of the vagina. And it's going up even into, it's inflaming. I could see the pelvic basin is inflamed into the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, the uterus. We got to dump that out. It's coming out like a black sludge. So just take a nice breath, and we're dumping this out. And then any active memories as well, linking into your own life, any active memories of where you numbed yourself, specifically in sexual experiences, to give pleasure to someone else, ignoring what you really wanted. Oof. And this is mainly within relationships. I'm not seeing it so much as, being accosted or sexually assaulted on the street. This is really coming in through relationships. Doesn't matter what I want, I need to please this person, and then I'll get my peace, or then I can go do what I want, but I need to pleasure this person first. We need to dump that numbing out of the vaginal canal, out of that whole pelvic basin. It's even affecting the iliums, the hips, the whole 9 yards around that whole feminine area, hips down, even going down into numbing out the legs. There it goes. All right, I'm tapping all of this in here. And we're going to link this into water. All of this whole pelvic basin repair, the dumping of the 8th chakra influence, and then those active memories. I'm going to bring in water, a specific water. It almost feels like holy water, or bringing in ocean, that's salt water, to run a purification, so that it can run a purification through the intercellular fluid, those intercellular walls, the inside lining, the tissues, the fascia within there, the muscular system, any tendons or ligaments that hold those hips together, through the bone, bringing that disinfection through that holy water. It's coming up as ocean, specific ocean. The Pacific needs to be nice and warm, that nice warm ocean water. Oh, there's a breath. And we're also going to run that disinfection through the bone marrow. So if any consciousness has been passed down, so if through the lineage, through your lineage, if any of this has been passed down from the females in your family, or the matriarchs in your family, through that bone marrow, that the bone marrow is being cleaned out and is opening up to experiencing joy. Joy through the bones, so they may become alive again. There we go. There is a nice gurgle. I think that is enough. And check, yeah, that's enough work for today. Thank you so much. I was not expecting that. Thank you all for being here with me, and I'd love to hear your feedback. You can write to me personally if you'd like to, or on my YouTube channel, and see you all next week. And thank you so much for being here.